The infrastructure sector is a key driver of economic growth in Rwanda and contributes a large portion to the country's GDP. Welcome to this special episode of Invest Rwanda as we engage the Minister for Infrastructure, Jimmy Gasore, and specific focus on the energy sector, from electrification to renewable energy to environmental sustainability. There's a lot to unpack as far as the energy sector is concerned in Rwanda. Minister, thank you so much for creating time to speak to us here on CNBC Africa. So to just kick off this conversation, paint to us a picture of the infrastructural developments within Rwanda in 2024.
Yes, thank you for the time and the opportunity to share our experience. 2024 has been a very good year for us. In February, we commissioned the largest power plant in Rwanda, the Shema Power Lake Kivu, which is powered by methane, which is a gas from Kivu. We also commissioned the Rusumo hydropower plant, which is shared between Rwanda, Burundi, and Tanzania. Of course, we are waiting for inauguration early next year, but the power plant is well and running. So it has been an exciting journey for us in this year. Thank you.
Rwanda has a goal of reaching up to 100% in terms of renewable energy transition. Where are we at the moment?
Yes, Rwanda is on a good track to achieve 100% renewable energy, especially last year, 2023, in June. We decommissioned the petrol-powered generators. That has been a very big milestone for us to not only to lower the emissions from our sector, but also to lower the cost of energy in Rwanda. Yeah, and also commissioning this Rusumo hydropower plant, which is also not small. It's 27 megawatt for us, and 27 megawatt for each of the two other countries. Plus the methane gas is not totally a clean energy, but is much cleaner than other sources like coal and peat. So this also helps us move closer to the 100% renewable. In addition, we are also in full swing building the Nyabarongo hydropower plant, which will be 43 megawatts. So we are inching closer every year.
Perhaps talk to us about some of the biggest projects in terms of solar energy as well as hydropower that have happened in 2024.
So in terms of green financing, I would say it's a relatively new sector for most of us. We are learning, but we see some momentum in rural electrification with the home solar kit. There are a lot of momentum in harnessing the carbon market in that area. And some of our power plant IPPs and even the new IPPs, a new power purchase agreement that we are signing, we are also putting the clause on how do we harness and how do we share potential revenues from the carbon market.
The conversation on carbon markets is a global conversation at the moment. Rwanda has been making strides on that front. Perhaps bring us up to speed on what is being done.
Yes, Rwanda is, I would say, starting to harness the potential for carbon market. I believe the potential is much bigger than what we are achieving, but at least we have a framework of how to access a carbon market through the Ministry of Environment, especially the Rwanda Environmental Management Authority. And even the Ministry of Finance is starting streamlining the green financing, the green taxonomy. Green taxonomy means how to assess the project in terms of green financing. So I would say we are in a process of building legal and regulatory framework and processes to harness the market, while first movers like mostly private sector are already harnessing some of the proceeds from the market. In terms of Africa, I think to fully tap into the potential of carbon trading, there is a need for Africa-wide carbon market. It would help increase the size of the market to attract more investors. But of course, the African market needs to be integrated into the general global carbon market. There is also a need to have harmonized procedures and processes, as well as transparent mechanism to account for the carbon saving in the different projects.
The energy sector is a crucial sector in Rwanda, but yet there is a lot of emphasis now on environmental sustainability. Perhaps, Minister, you could tell us what is it that you're doing to ensure that there's balance between profitability and environmental sustainability within the country?
So sustainability is an integral part of any project, especially as you mentioned, Rwanda put a lot of emphasis on environmental sustainability. So whatever we do, first, you have to do the environmental impact assessment to ensure that the project is not harming the environment, be it hydro, be it solar, be it methane gas. You have to put a big focus on impact of the project to the environment.
Just picking up from where you've left, how then can African countries come together to forge a mechanism in terms of carbon trading in order to be in favor of the African countries?
Yes, as I said, there is a huge potential to work together as African to set our own standards, our own requirements, and our own accounting procedures that are very well aligned with our context as African in terms of carbon market. So once we start working together, joining hands, we become a big voice, we become a big market, and we can even have more benefit in terms of how much value is given to our carbon market in Africa.
Rwanda's infrastructure industry is contained of several sectors, including the transport sector, the housing sector. Perhaps, Minister, let us know what has been done in other sectors apart from the energy sector.
Yes, there are many sectors, as you mentioned, in the ministry, and each sector will need to have its own ways to be more efficient in terms of energy. For example, in terms of housing, we have now minimum requirement for green building that has been approved 5 years ago or so. This is about efficiency in energy consumption in the building, and we are pushing more towards that, especially most large projects has to consider green building certification. Other sectors like industry, of course, is cleaner production, and also some industry are considering adding even their own generation of solar energy or renewable energy on their site or off their site, so we can help carrying their energy they produce off site to their location. Other sectors like transport, Rwanda has moved since 2021. It has reduced the taxes for hybrid and electric vehicles. This was an effort to promote green mobility, and we have seen some momentum, and we are even pushing further. For example, from January next year, so it's within a month, we are no longer accepting petrol motorcycles for public transport in city of Kigali. I mean new petrol motorcycles. So this is a push further to reduce emissions and to be greener in transport. We are also seeing momentum in buses, electric buses, which are monitoring closely and see ways also to add some push in that area.
Indeed, a lot of developments within 2024. Perhaps talk to us about what is it that you expect from the infrastructure sector come 2025?
So 2025, the biggest project was the Shema Power and the Rusumo hydropower plants. The rest are in the making, for example, Nyabarongo 2, which will come in 2027. So for now, 2025, we are going to focus on access, reinforcing our grid. We have a project in different districts to reinforce our electricity grid, minimize the loss, and we increase the stability of our grid. This also helps reduce the greenhouse gas emissions, because when you have a stable power, when you have a resilient grid, people are less likely to use diesel generators. Also, we continue to improve the access to the clean cooking to rural population. This is improve the cook stoves, solar energy generation, and we are also going to significantly scale the clean cooking using LPG. It's not entirely green, but is much greener than deforestation that comes when you use biomass.
Minister, thank you so much for creating time to speak to us here on CNBC Africa.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Well, that has been Minister Jimmy Gasore of Infrastructure here in Rwanda. And indeed, the infrastructure sector, and specifically the energy sector, is booming in Rwanda. And the conversation can only get better in 2025 with now more focus on carbon markets, carbon trading, renewable energy, and rural electrification within Rwanda. Thank you for tuning in on this episode of Invest Rwanda. I've been your host, Flora Limuki. Until next time, goodbye for now.